Bulawinaka,
Hola.
welcome to the Family Table Talk at 7:30 a.m. Well, it's beautiful and sunny outside, and it's such a beautiful day out here in Suva, and we welcome you. For those of you that are tuning in outside of Fiji, Bulawinaka, it may be whatever date and hour and night or time, we would like to say a thank you for taking the time to join us. So even if you get to watch this later, we would like to welcome you and also thank you. Wambula tiko ni weekenda and tiko bakayawa na bikorokoro. Sono ngano dan ramatakale vale ni barwai ndo sekila ni barwai e bakai balabo balele na nandabo na matakale. And it's a privilege for every weekend. You say to yourself, you're not going to work. There's nothing expected of you unless if you want to go early in the market. And I remember those days when we used to go very early to the market, about 7 o'clock in the morning. We were out there in the market, or 6 o'clock on Saturdays, just to go and get the weekend supply and the vegetables for the week. So whichever way that you always use or spend your Saturday mornings, we would like to welcome you.
Weekend na turangan na marama. Naroon ng lewa na sana ito gawain ng Tabanuay. Weekend na korokoro. Tunin ko na matagan sa kaninday.
Yeah.
Waka ito ka na rice, waka lolo.
Malaka.
Siya na topoy.
Topay.
Siya na topay. Waka waye.
Pasuka.
Wawin mo na ko na matagan ni kuwa. Balindotal na matagawo.
Yeah.
Bulabo. Totoka tunan raki na nung takoro turanga. Bila tiko nagsinga. Siya nga sulti ni Koko na dangi. Maraming sarto nga. Nawasawasa. Wakang bulat tu kan weekend na kita wawaro tu na lang kay goli se weekend na wawaro lang kay wikaw na batakan ni sige weekend na wawaro lang na market wawaro tu kumain ni kuwa sa wakang bulat tu kan ni nonda program binangongo na family table talk may turaki and my television be mamani vitu and batakan ni sige dai weekend na lewe viti na bagayan tu kumain na bunole mo serne se state level Queensland se Northern Territory, weekend na Western Australia, ni Bulawinaka. Weekend to may New Zealand, Northern Island, South Island, ni Bulawinaka, and matakan ni Siganinday. Sabang ang bulat ko. Nuitaka na, vital no ni kuwa, and ayang apakalimu ng tambula, o siwin ng tamatubale, ng bulan ni Bewe Kani, Bewe Tartara, Bewe Talanoa, may binakatungakin ng tambula, nin sayala lakina, na mata ni kalum pada tanong tambula mga biotini non tambula mga bitamani non tambula mga bitinani kapag si non tambula mga matawale na mata kanisi ni dai pamula tugan kebikyan na siya kami kuha.
Well, last week we spoke quite a fair bit on health, finances, and then we mentioned that this week we would like to talk on relationship, because there are a lot of relationships and a lot of ways that family was formed. It can be just a nuclear, you meet each other, and then that's it, you get married, you have your own family, or some of us live in extended families. We still stay with our parents or grandparents, so it's like a communal. You stay in the place that everybody else is there. And for some of us, we, certain decisions of our lives or something that we never planned that happens. You may have lost your husband or your wife, they passed on, or they've left to, start new families. And then you have your children to look after, but you also have a life. Yeah. So you go out and you meet somebody that you say to yourself that we can start, I can continue with another new family. And then you have all these things to consider, like you taking your children from your first marriage to your second marriage, or even some of us to our third and fourth marriage. For most, I believe it worked in their own ways on how they manage it. But we would like just to talk about it and just provide guidelines. There can be food for thought, because you see a lot of problems like this. Most of these children, they add up to the number of neglected children, because no one is actually taking ownership or responsible for them. Because of the two that are involved, it's like they love each other, they've just met, and they forget about the responsibility that they had in their first marriages, or even, on how we always talk about the teenage pregnancy. Kasi vuliti ko, sando na lubemo. Nangono galimawa tiki ko sakot tiko indua. You never plan, but you love your child or you love your children. So fast, not only one. You can have 2 or 3. Nangono galimawa tiki na. You have all this baggage with you that you take to your new relationship and a new marriage. And so those are the things that we want to bring to the table today to talk about it. Baleta, we believe, like what I said, we are not saying something that to say that we know it all or you have to go this way. These are, just conversational being in this program is table talk, family table talk. That before you are engaged into another relationship, for you to know that it's not only you. For the person that is interested in you, you have to love me and my package. I have to, you coming in as a package. It's no longer just you. So you need to agree from the beginning to avoid the differences, the fights, because you knew what you're walking into, and you knew when you take that woman or you embrace and love that man, he was not on his own. He had or she had her children. So that love, if you really, really love that person, you will love that person and their package.
Because something that happened before you two meet.
Yeah.
And when you come together, some of these children are left with their grandfather, grandmother.
Yeah.
And some of these children are put in their uncles and aunties. And these are sometimes they become problem children because
they neglected
and they don't feel the love that they rightly deserve because of the parents. They choose to continue with their life with a new relationship and they
without them
forget about them. So it can be hurt and they've gone through the not wanted. They can feel in their spirit. And sometimes they turn around and they hit back in a different way.
Yeah.
The way they live, their character in the school, in the villages. And that's why it's very important for anyone that you two come together and you realize that one of you have children from previous relationship, that we must take the package in full. Because if not, these children will be rejected. They feel rejected.
When you love somebody, like you feel jealous, the jealousy, because you want that person to yourself. Like you love that person, and love. If you have to describe love is a very strong word. Like it sounds light, like casually. Because you say, oh, I love you. Oh, thank you. Send my love. Like you casually say it. But when it comes to a love involving, relationship, this type of relationship, like a boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife, that love, the chemistry in it, like it can engulf you. If you're not careful, whatever, say, like if you have planned out your life, when you fall in love with somebody, if you're not careful, that love can change your whole course of your life, can make you do the things you never even ever thought that you can do. And with that kind of love, the strong, the strength of that chemistry, of that love. So when you come in and you love this person, and because of that, the strength of your love, you didn't, like what you mentioned today, you didn't even consider the fact that those children, were part of that person that you love without you being in the picture. Because sometimes like that jealousy of not wanting to have anything to do with those children because you want that person to yourself. But that person, it's not that she or he went and have children while you two know each other and love each other. That's her past or his past. And as you love that person, for me, if you describe love to the extent of really fully love and 100% love toward that person, you will love her or him with their package, then that is true love. And for those of you that have that kind of relationship, you are anticipating whether you should get married or whether you should not, because you are thinking of your children. Most, they think of their children, but for some, they don't think of their children. It's like, it's okay. If that person loves me and I love that person, and then they become secondary. Your children become secondary or second thoughts. It's like, okay, if he's really serious and want to take me on, or if she's really serious and want to start a life with me, then you don't even consider them as part of that package. You've already canceled them from the beginning. And so you move on, and then the children are left to fend for themselves. They can be fortunate to have their grandparents still alive, or they can be fortunate having their aunties and uncles, and to have somebody. And what about families, like you don't have anybody else? And where do those children go? But that's you are oblivious to the fact that you have a responsibility. And you move on to the next relationship like they never existed, and that's the only relationship you have, minus everybody else, because you really want that love for yourself, and you are for each other. You believe that, and you're so very protective of that love, that you don't want any reminders of your past to go with you, and you don't want anything mentioned. It's like you are starting, it's like you living in, you create your own world when it comes to that, and you continue to live that without even bothering about anybody else but yourself. But some, they take the time, like if they are involved in a relationship, for some of the people that usually share their stories, like they're always breaking, they're breaking their relationship because that person or the other partner is not taking him or her with a package.
Yeah.
And I admire that, because they make their stand.
Yeah, and that's what makes marriage reasonable, when you decide from the beginning, not hiding the half of the package that you have to bring into the new relationship. Because if you understand from the beginning, and you understand the yes and the no. Some people, when their next relationship is not ready, they sever that time. Because they are careful about their children, which is rightfully they're supposed to be. Because if your new relationship is not accepting you with your package, and
then it wouldn't work.
And who will look after these children? And goes back to what you normally share with our young people, that your mistakes, your wrong decision, and becoming pregnant can change your future, can change the course of your life, can cause a lot of hindrance in whatever you endeavor to do in the future, because of those packages, because of the wrong decision at one time. But if it's already done, you need to be fair from the beginning, and transparent from the beginning.
And that is why, like, if you are seriously thinking of a relationship, then you need to tell them from the beginning, like what you said. If somebody comes and said, "Oh, I'm interested in you. I would like to court you. Like I would like to have a relationship with you." You must, from the beginning, you put that down on the table and say, "Look, if you don't know me well, I've got a child already, or I was married and I have 3 children from my first marriage. And if you're willing, only if you're willing, to consider me and my children, then I will say yes to the relationship. But if you're not willing and ready from the beginning, then I don't think that we have, anything in common, or we can continue with this relationship." It's an honesty from the beginning, because for some cases, that they become prayer requests later. For some cases, you go out because you act like they don't exist. And some of us, like you act single, and then you get involved with this man or this woman. Like the relationship have already started, because you've started it without the package. And then that person or your partner decide to be serious, and then turn to you one day and say, "Why don't we get married?" And that's when you turn to that person and say, okay, like, I want to tell you that I've got children. So they become secondary to you, and that's when you make your decision. And sometimes, because you've already gone out and act out without them, it's very easy for you to say, okay, we just go ahead. My children are okay with their grandparents, or they are okay somewhere else. And if you can look after them, it's okay. So because you are selfish in a way that you are just concerned about your love, your lust,
relationship,
and it's all about you. But and that goes back to be to us as women, that connection that we have with our children, and the accountability that we have. Because I see for most families, it's easy for men to stand up and go, but for women, before you do anything like that, sometimes these children are the very ones that stop you from doing what you can do. Like you'll always think to yourself, no, this is not the right person. No, this is not the right person. No, this person will not love my children. So you will have a lot of, you'll analyze, assess what's best, because you're always thinking of your children. And maybe one day somebody will come and say, okay, I'm willing, to take you on in your children. Because to me, I always explain that love is like, it's like the true love, because you love the person that comes with a package. And I remember, one time we were down at the studio, and we had this Zoom virtual news stand-up program, and we had one of our member, SB Desmond, and Desmond was sharing with us on that particular. I never knew that. Like, I always see him bring his children, like I see them in church, but I never knew, because the way that they live their life, I didn't even know about that, not until he shared that morning. And one thing that he shared when he was sharing about his life, and then he mentioned, when I met my wife and got involved with my wife, she had two children, and he said, I got them to change their names to my name, to my surname, and I love these children like my own. And when he said that, then I try to remember, the way that I see them come together, the way that he looks at it. It's like they were all his children. Yeah. And I, and how blessed is his wife, because that's a rare find. You can find, it's very rare to find or to hear somebody that can easily just come and love, children that are not your own. And that's one of the, example that we can say that it can happen, that you can love.
And that's what we call true love.
Yeah.
When you love a person, and you love that person with the package that they are with.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yes.
And that what we call it's a true love. But sometimes there are people who only love that woman or just that man without the package. To me, that's not true love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it can be very selfish, or you just after your lust, sexual lust. But because of the true love, you love that person and whatever it takes. Not only the children, her relatives or his relatives. No? That means your love is a little bit matured.
Yeah.
Your love is the true love, because you love her unconditioned, regardless. Yeah. And sometimes it's very rare to find what Senior Pastor Desmond normally say about his children. When he loved them, you will never know that these two are not his children, but because of his love. So you can form a family just by being a good father,
or being a good mother.
Yeah. You don't have to be a biological father or biological mother, but because of your love, because of your character, you can. Because some people, the one that they are not biologically father or mother, they love those children more than the real mother or the real father. So it depends on the maturity of love that we can we share. And I believe most of the marriage today, they are on a rocky ground, because their love is just based maybe on sex, or maybe on achievement, or maybe on the outside appearance. Their love is not based that I love you right to the depth, at the core of that person. And that's what we call the mature love.
Yes.
And the world today is in a rocky ground.
Because we have changed this love, like years back from our parents, a little bit on our time. That love then is different from the love now, the way I see it. That love has quality, integrity.
You're serious.
You're serious. But the love now is like casual. I can love you today, after 1 month, I don't like you. You go looking for somebody else. Like that casual feeling that we brought to love. Like you can easily walk in and out of love. You can choose to love this person today, have a relationship for 1 year, and then after that instead, I'm tired of you, you go looking for somebody else. So the love now is different. The way I look at it, it's different from the love it was. That quality love, the love that it comes with trust.
Until death do us apart.
Yes, like
you've given your word that whatever, in good times or in bad times, whether you rich or poor, what surrounds you is immaterial.
Yes.
I love you as a person and who you are, where you come from, your background. All these things doesn't matter to me. To me, that's the true love.
And then also like the love once, like that kind of love, or the previous, like the past. That love is like if you fault, and then you're not 100% in that marriage or in that relationship, that endurance, the persevere, to be able to absorb that and continue to make your marriage work or make your family work, it's not the same now. The patience is less, the endurance level is very low. Say like we can have our differences for years, and I can be, saying the same thing and say, man, you never do that. Oh man, I'm tired of that. Like you continue to have this kind of conversation at home. But it's one of those things you say to yourself, okay, deal with it, and then you continue to move on. But most relationship now, as and when that, the patience is very, the endurance is very low. Because if you say it once, say it twice, say it 3 times, instead, okay, what am I doing with you? Since you're not doing it, I don't know why I'm wasting my time with you. And then that's it. That's how I see that most marriages doesn't work now. Because the endurance or persevere to make it work is no longer there.
Because as you said from the beginning, the love that expressed now through marriage, it's not that quality love that like, we used to be before. When you said that you love a person, you are really committed.
Yes.
And because of your love, it's overshadowed or overwhelmed
all the weaknesses.
The weaknesses and the faults, the error that we do along the way. We have differences, we have faults here and there, but it's okay. We will move on. Our love is much, much deeper
and greater than these issues.
Than the small issue.
But now the issues become bigger than your love. Your love becomes small and the issues become big. That's why you wake up in the morning, you start swearing at each other. During the day, when you're not happy with anything, like you start blasting each other on the phone. I'm not on Facebook, but I remember this morning, this particular morning when I came into the office, and I had one of the staff who walked in. She was actually talking about something else, and something she mentioned that morning, and she said, it's really good and you're not on Facebook. And I looked and I said, I've never even bothered about Facebook since it started. It was never a desire. I make reference to it, like it's good because it's like a good forum, a good media,
You can promote.
You can promote it. Like it has its advantages. But when she mentioned it that day, and then she said, I'm thinking about pulling out of the, closing my account. This is what she said, closing my account. And I said, okay, how does it work? And she said, the Facebook, like just the differences, husband and wife, they put it on the Facebook. If they don't like anything about their children, they put it on the Facebook. It's like, like, I don't know, the way she was saying it, the swears, like there's no quality, no There's no quality at all. Like this.
Yeah, the relationship today, when we remove the creator from the relationship, then the relationship becomes casual.
Yeah.
Yeah, the relationship becomes casual. Even the words that is used, it's no longer husband and wife or the partners. The partners is not meant that will be last long. It is a partner during that time, that period.
Yeah.
But when you talk about husband and wife, you are talking about, lifelong.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong relationship.
Commitment, eh?
Yeah. It's a commitment. There is no expectation that somebody will walk out that relationship. But as we said, the relationship today, or the husband and wife relationship today, or the putting together family today, like it's not really deep like before.
Yeah.
That's something that is special, and you can't walk away from it. And it's like a
commitment that you just feel in your heart that you can't break it. You can't break that commitment. That's what I felt for those of us in our years. Maybe you're in your 50s now or 40s, but now it's like even to marriage, right to the altar, you still turn around and say 2 or 3 years later, no, this doesn't work for me. You go looking for somebody else. Or you are in a marriage, but you are involved in other affairs because you're not satisfied with your marriage. And okay, back to the initial conversation that we were having, like when you bring in your package, when you bring in the package, now we are talking about the package, the value, the quality it is. But when you bring in your package, if you agree, okay, I will love you and your children. That's to the partners that only one of them come with their with their baggage with them. But if both of them come from families, maybe their partners passed on, or they moved on to have their own families, and they divide the children from their previous marriage, and then they bring this package. For us, as we bring it to the table, the right thing to do is to sit together, talk about it. Okay, I have this much children, you have that many children. Now, we need to talk whether our relationship can work. Because our relationship success is based on the fact that you are coming in with yours and I'm coming in with mine. So you must have that kind of...
when you have that package on both sides, you'll see that much easier when both of them, they are starting a family, when they have previous
relationships.
But when someone is single and someone with a package, that's where we see a lot of problem that surface, because the one that is single
will always feel second best, disadvantage. Because like when you come in, like what I said, if you're coming in with both of your packages, then when you live your life, when you start your family, you must remember that both of your children have the same rights, the same access, the same, they're the same. And you must not treat your partner's children differently from yours. Kaya kayo kusando mo na natura ng gura sa ko tamay na luvia na may nanonobama iliu ko elenga beka na watina se to vimate se asala ko tale rovimbiu ningon ko nang domoni ko kina nanomo na may lomani vale beleta. I believe to make that marriage work or make that family work, it boils down to the fact for us women, because women are at home, women are in the kitchen, women, they do the planning. Maybe some men, they do that, but most are women. So as and when you are, looking after your family and managing your family, you must take them on board like they are your own children. To be fair to your partner, and you treat them the same as your children. And vice versa for the gentleman. They must, include yours as part of the package. Like what I said, some it works well with them. I mean, there's no issues. But for most, it becomes an issue. It's like you're always, fault finding, and there's always something wrong with this child. Oh, this child doesn't listen, very disobedient. And you're always making reference to the previous marriage when your family doesn't work. It's all because of your children, because of what they do, our family. So these children become, like, they become the excuses of not having that marriage work. And that is why it's important what you said this morning goes back to the beginning. Yeah. The beginning is very important. The beginning of the relationship is very important. You can't go halfway to the relationship and then you have this rebuff and you want to change it because you're already deep in it. Yeah. You're already part of it.
And when we have that package, we really need to treat everybody the same.
Yes.
When you come together and somebody have a package, the way that you treat the children must be fair. Especially if you have children and
thank you.
Some of them, they are not behaving. And that's where the problem will start to come surface. When especially the children of from the previous relationship.
They start acting out.
And say if the wife or the husband will say, see, our children is this, but your child is like this. So that's where the rubber start to meet the road. The reality, arguments start to happen, and the poor boy, poor girl from the previous relationship will start to receive the flack here and there. And that's where the commotion start to happen, and sometimes because of the jealous heart, because as you said from the beginning, when we get married, we want that woman to be
to yourself,
like or that man to be ours. But because of that package, and you will, in your mind will start to, that child will start to remind you of the previous relationship.
And every time you look at that child, it's like a reminder that you were the second, because you really love that person. So any indication or any proof or any child from or anything that has to do with the previous relationship or the previous marriage, without you knowing, you feel threatened by it. Like they become a threat to you for the love that you have just found. And it's wrong to look at them as threats. They're not threats. They were there, or they became part of your partner's life without you. So it's not that your partner sees you and said, okay, I don't like you, I'll go and have children with this one first, and then I'll come back for you. If that happens, and then you have every right to say, okay, you know me from the beginning, and then you go and do that, But you haven't met. Maybe you know each other from school, or maybe you know each other from work, and you are not part of that picture, the initial picture, the first picture. So you were the second time around, and just embrace that.
Sometimes too, when you have a child from a previous marriage or relationship, and there's a connection between that man and that woman, or this woman and that man. The connection will always be there because of the child. And because of that connection, it'll become a thorn of their marriage. And if we not handle properly, it takes a lot of understanding.
But some, I see, maybe for the Etoke it's a struggle. For us here in Fiji, like say for the Europeans, like when you hear stories or when you see them, like that relationship, they move on and they become, say for Pastor David, we have a lifelong friend in Australia. He had his first marriage with grown-up children, adults. They already have, he had grandchildren. And then he had, another marriage or another relationship. The way he always talk about, his first wife that comes in with her husband and him with his new wife, and they can have dinner, they sit together. And not only that, the husband, the first wife's husband, is an accountant to his business. like that, that relationship, that trust, that they, even though, and every time we always see him, and he will say, he had one, two, now he's on the, second relationship after his initial first family that he had children with. And now whenever he always, share with us, that I want to bring to this table, whenever that he shares with us, he always say, I don't know how to say this, I may have, go on to my second marriage, but the first wife is Heather. And he will always say, but Heather will always have, a place in my heart because of
the children.
Because of the children.
And sometimes it's easy, like for us, it's easy to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or other marriages that only you and your wife, it's easy to talk about. Imagine, let's put it in a
real life.
Like she had a child before we meet, and from time to time I will see that man to come and discuss with her of their child before I meet. I will make sure that I'll stay around to hear
what they say. Stick to the child. Talk about the child only.
So it's not easy.
Yeah, it's true. It's amazing how you brought it up, because I was just thinking to ask that question, to pose that question. What if I come with my baggage? I was wanting to say that, but it's amazing how you just pick it up.
Because the Holy Spirit is. Because some people they will be watching.
Yeah.
Say if I come with a child of mine and I meet you, and every time the mother of the child will come around.
But I will love you and I love your child.
Oh, praise the Lord, hallelujah.
It's only you who will say, hey, what are you talking about? Because, you have to be the matured one. You have to, have your love to be matured. Meka kuni selfish na namundandomo. I can anticipate that you can do that. You will come and guard and stand like in the middle of us. If I'm talking to this man that I had a child with, he will make sure he'll stand there. He wants to hear every word. And I can picture him doing that. But I don't picture myself to be so, overwhelmingly, overbearingly over his son. I said, okay, you talk about that. Just make sure that whatever that you agree to, that, we speak. For me, the right way of doing it,
from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. Like we're talking about, like if it happens to us, if you say for a woman, if you for a woman, if you take in a man, and a man that has already had their children, the right thing to do, thinking that for me that's the right thing to do, that you will tell your first wife, if your first wife have moved on and have another relationship, but the children are with you and you're taking it to your relationship.
New relationship.
Yeah, for me the right way of doing it, you will sit them down both and you will say, look, anything to do with my, iko nakabi na waten ni mo timo ko na luvian, iko may susunga. Sa ko may wendo talanela o may susungir to. So you will say to your first wife, if anything to do with the children, you will need to communicate with your karua, with my wife.
New one.
With myself. Baleta o korto naman ngo. And so, and if you have moved on and have your relationship, you should have a good heart to accept your partner and the relationship as well, because
it happens from the beginning.
Yeah.
From the beginning. If it was shared from the beginning, it's an understanding.
Yes.
Because you have the choice to
say yes or no.
Or no. Because
some usually say yes. What if I come, I have my child, and I'll say, and I didn't tell you. And halfway through I say, hey, and then they say, well, I want to marry you. I said, I've got my child. What do you say? Like now?
It depends whether I already surrendered my life to Jesus or not.
You surrender your life to Jesus. And if you don't surrender your life to Jesus, you said, okay, get out of my life. Get out of my life. And I said, okay.
And that's the reality of what's happening out there.
Yeah.
Because we don't start well. We are not transparent.
Yeah, from the beginning.
And sometimes we form a family just because of the first night.
Yeah.
One night affair, or something happened, get pregnant, and you are forced to marry, or maybe
like it's unplanned,
Yeah, it's unplanned. You never discuss anything about getting together. That's the reason why we caught. So we put every baggage on the table, because when the world starts, we already know that you have not extramarital affairs, you have a previous relationship. So there is no excuse for you to get angry later, because you already from the beginning you say, whatever you bring, then I'm ready to take it on.
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe if you really love that person,
it goes back to the quality of love you have. If you really love that person, and I remember when we started courting, and the first time that he took me to his family, and when we walked in, like I always share about my life is very private. My family, I know them by names, but I don't meet them. I was brought up in a totally different way, and then he took me to his family. That is the whole village. I think I can say the whole village sitting. And then you come in. Imagine that feeling. You don't know how to speak in Lawan. You don't know what they're saying. Iko kailangan mo sa wambao o sanggalindan bitiko rangay taliet iko sangka okay, like what are they saying? Ono go chika kachime kana mo ko to kachu na war to kai. Otia me sa otia sangay mo sa nanonambu. Nanonambu to me ndabisar chung me like opukaloni. Sangay mo sa mayo ko sangay kamo ko re neba go richeli la uir na kay vivia re re iko sandomo ni may boss ang saranda bikin to na biwekan. Iko sandomo ni may boss isinyada nga bibosa o bosa o kemani kedi na pusi na kuli na tawa oi like that. And to me that's the way that they look at love before. I mean, she's a grandmother. She was married to a Chinese and had a lot of children. They're all over, and to come from her and then to think that love then to them, the way they describe that love is when you come in, you love the whole package. Now we're talking about the package of previous children from your other marriage, but even love, when you love a person for a normal marriage without bringing in a package, you must love that person with all their baggage. It's not that for you to look after them, indirectly speaking, the way I took, her words that day, that love comes with that package, that you must embrace it, which means if anything to do with the family, I shouldn't be the obstacle. I shouldn't come in and take you out of your family. I should love you and, just be there. So, when you have your other relationship and you bring into the fold, like what he said, every time it's like a reminder. It's like a reminder, okay, sendo nga nakadalar ka ba, iko sa udisa nga itinamo. Sendo nakadalar, iko udisa nga itamamo. Baka nakadha kita nga idala and make reference kung the mateni marriage kung never worked or the mateni marriage that they moved on. And we are sharing this, but it's amazing how most marriages have worked. It's amazing how they make it work, and I admire that. I admire the fact that they can make it work. I remember, Maggie, I hope you won't mind me sharing your story. I have this friend of mine. She now lives in New Zealand. She used to share with me when they were doing well. They own a butcher. They were doing very well. And she comes from a family of about 1, 2, 3. Her older brother, herself, she was the only girl, and a younger brother. And one time, the mother just stood up and went. And she said with all the attempts that they tried to make to bring her back, and they were not going to church, they were not going to church. And she just moved on with her life. And by the time, they were looking around for her, trying to find her, she's already with a man that they knew each other before. And she said, that moment, when I look at my father, his life changed. From, like, he was beginning to live a life without purpose. They lost their business. They lost a lot of things. And one thing that caught me when she mentioned, then my father brought home a stepmother. And she came in with three of her children. With my years of knowing Maggie, I've never heard her to speak ill, to say anything, to speak ill of a stepmother. I'll always, because those children, they never even at one point of their life would think when their mom or their dad was alive that there's going to be another picture that will happen in their lives in years to come. That's the only picture they've had. Their mom and their dad. The only picture that they've had. And when that change, it's very hard to embrace on their part, on the children's part, which I want to bring to this table about my grandchildren. Don't ever think that we are perfect. No, we bring to the table the raw things, organic, just as it is, to be food for thought and also help us moving forward. When my daughter moved on and had another family, and that is why I'm always grateful to my grandchildren's dad, to Mataika. And Mataika, we treated him like our own son. I treat him like my own son. When that marriage didn't work and she moved on, cut ties with the family, but Mataika stayed on. He looked after the two boys. I looked after Joshua because from birth he stayed with me. But Mataika, I kept in touch with him on the two boys' school staff, their uniform, anything and everything about these two boys, I financially supported. And the food, their food ration, food to be picked up from home. And I can say today that I'm really, really grateful for that son-in-law of mine for looking after his two boys and never even consider going straight into anything, any relationship at all. He looked after his boys. And for Joshua, every now and then he will ask whether Joshua can join them. Joshua cannot sleep in either of the home. And if he goes with the dad in the middle of the night for that weekend, Mataika is calling and said, he can't sleep. He's standing outside. He wants to come back home. And we'll always have to go and bring Joshua back. And that's another thing that I want to share with us. When that happens in a relationship, that feeling of insecurity that comes within that child, they feel insecure. It's like they have no one to turn to. Even though my grandchild was staying with me, I can provide everything that he ever wanted, but there was something in him that I cannot. That longing for his mom. We can be eating, we can be shopping, and out of the blue, imagine I looked after this grandson. He's 19 now. I look after him, and he was from birth. And we can be shopping, and in the midst of everything, he'll turn to me and he said, "Nena, what about mommy?" I said, "Yeah, what about mommy?" "How is she? We can do her shopping too." Like that. That connection that you cannot take away. And even in the night, because we always have this thing, habit, every time before we go to sleep, we'll hold hands and we'll pray on my bed. And every time we are sitting to pray, and he'll always pray first before I do. And every time he prays, the first thing that comes out from his mouth, "Jesus, please check on my mommy, look after my mommy, and look after my daddy." Regardless of the life that I've created for him, and I came in to fit in the role of his parents. But there's something in him that always remind me that I cannot replace. I cannot be the mother that he doesn't see every day. I cannot be the father, or he cannot be the father. He cannot fit in into his life. So it's that insecurity, and he cannot go. And even though with that given opportunity for him to go and sleep over, he cannot. So if he has to go out, or if Mataika will come and take the children out, and they go out to the park, he'll always go out with one condition. He'll always turn to me and says, "Nena, when I do, I'm going to go with Daddy and Otiana Linicio. Can you just ask Uncle Elancho or Auntie Kula to be there?" So while he's there with his two brothers and his dad, either one of the uncle or the auntie in their car to be at a distance, just so wherever he is, he look and he knows that they are around. That feeling of insecurity. Because when I took him in, I took him like my youngest child. And life moved on. So come a time when their mother come in with their, with her relationship. but they were quite matured with it. They don't share that much with me, the real feelings that they had. But I remember when we were in church one time at the Kyrgyzstan, he came in and said, I think mommy, brought her husband or her boyfriend, and he's there. And I said, oh, what's his name? So he'll tell me his name. And then towards the end, and then I'll come with them. And towards the end, he will come and say, can you give some money to them just for their taxi fare? They don't have a direct conversation with their stepfather, and everything is through their mother. And one thing that I really wanted to share with us, it's about this son-in-law of mine, Joshua's father. Every year, every break, every weekend, the two boys come home to me to spend time with their brother, Joshua. Every Sunday to take them back to their father. Oh, I don't like those Sundays. Every Sunday night, it becomes a crying Sunday to us. To see them go hesitantly that they're going to leave each other. So Joshua will go with whatever transport that takes them. And every Sunday night, it's not a nice night for us. He'll come home. He will walk past us in the lounge. And if I tell him, I said, oh, so they went, you said goodbye. He will not say anything. Head bowed down, he'll go straight to his room. And whenever I popped in on him, he'll cry himself to bed. That's a normal every Sunday. And most of the time, I know when he doesn't talk to me when I ask, indirectly, he blames me. He doesn't tell me, but I can see he's trying to tell me, if you're looking after me, why can't you look after my two brothers? So we can be together. So I don't have to go every weekend and say bye to them. That's what he's trying to tell me. But I wasn't ready. I was working in Nandi. I was commuting. There were a lot of other issues that I wasn't ready to take them on. And one of those beginning of the year that I always return my grandsons to go back with their school stuff, their supply, ready for the school year. It's one of those drop-off when the designated person that I've taken them called and said, there's no one in this house. Their father is not here, and according to them, he doesn't live here anymore. He's moved on in a flat, and they cannot get in touch with him. And I said, okay, leave everything, leave the food, leave everything. Just bring back my grandsons and their school stuff. Just bring them back home. Well, that bringing back was the day they came to be part of my life until today. When they came, and we finally got in touch with their dad, he was so apologetic. He said, I wasn't really anticipating the day that they were coming, and I forgot to advise that I'm no longer there. I'm flatting out with my friends and said, look, and this is what I told my son-in-law. And I said, Mataika, you've done a lot. For years, you look after these two boys. And I must take this time to say thank you. Because I feel indebted that I should have taken them on with Joshua and look after them. But I'm so grateful with everything you have done. And then he kept on insisting, just give me 1 month. Give me 1 month to sort myself out, and I'll come back for them. And I said, no, you don't come back for them. I will look after them. They will always be your children. They will always carry your name. They will never ever forget you. You will always access them. You can come home at any time. But one thing I will ask you. I will ask you to move on and have a life. Rosie have moved on. I need you to move on. And don't worry about your children. I will look after them. And always remember that you can access them at any time. And I will never take them away from you. And they will always be your children. And they will always carry your name. Dawagay Nambete. I took these two boys. They were schooling in Namboa Primary. I brought them out to Holy Trinity to join their brother. I begin to take them on just like I had Joshua. And 2 months later, I received this call on the landline in my office. It was my ex-son-in-law. And he just came on the phone and he said, Randini, I went searching for the boys. I went to school. I couldn't find them. I wanted to go and check on them, but I couldn't find them. And I said, very sorry. I forgot to advise you that I've taken them out of their school and they have joined Joshua in the current primary school that they're in. They are in Holy Trinity. And one thing I see with Mataika, every prize giving, everything about their children, about these boys, he's always there. Every birthday, he's standing in the, at a distance. If I forget to, have him part of it, like he's standing at the distance. I've always welcomed him until one time that goes back to the conversation that we were having from the beginning, the topic that we were talking about. That he called and he says, I would like to pick the children, the boys, if we can go out for movies. And I said, yes, that's fine. And also I would like to let you know that I'm in a relationship. And I said, Mataika, you don't need to explain yourself. You don't need my approval. That's deserving. And I'm so happy for you. And so I came home. I didn't say anything to my grandsons. But he came, he picked them, and they went for movies. So when they went for movies, when they came back, they were all quiet. Before they'll come, oh, we watched this, they started talking. But when they walked into the lounge, no sound. They went straight into their rooms. And I said, okay, did you people come back from somewhere? Yeah. What movies did you people watch? It's like they forgot what movie. And I said, come, what happened? Who all was there? And then they said, Daddy's friend. Oh, that's really nice. What's her name? We don't know. Oh, okay, that's fine. So that becomes the thing at home. Why I'm sharing this element? Because at least they have a forum of their grandparents that they can say that. But if they are staying with them, then it becomes, like there's no space or there's no one that they can say to. So every time he takes them out, it's always that. So the third time, and I said, what's your daddy's friend's name? Lewa. And I said, okay, that's really nice. So he was doing his studies, he graduated, got all his boys to be his guest. And on the day that he graduated at the gym when they had their graduation, he also had that day for his wedding or his marriage. And he asked his sons to be his, best man. And I begin to see the change in my grandsons on how they embrace this. They had the space. Like what I said, some of our children, they are from these packages, they are staying with somebody else, and they can have the time to absorb what's happening. But some, they don't have that option. They are thrown straight into the relationship, and they just have to find their way out. How they're going to love this person who have taken over their mom's life, or this person that have taken over their dad's life. But with the gratitude that they have to think, okay, this person is going out of their way to look after me. Then it becomes that family. And to cut my story short, from what it was. So whenever we have a conversation, we have a discussion, I will sit my grandchildren out. And most of the time I don't consider their feelings. I never even thought that at any time for me to sit and ask. I remember the second time when they came home and they, still haven't told me the name of their dad's girlfriend or the wife now. And one time I called them into the kitchen, I looked them straight in the eyes and I said, okay, do you really love your dad? And they looked at me and they said, yeah, we love our dad. Because whenever he used to come home, they'll jump on him, they will, that closeness. And I said, do you really love your dad? And said, yeah, we really love our dad. And if you really, really love your dad, then you will love dad and what he loves. If you people have allowed that for your mom, then I'm sure you can allow it too for your dad. I can understand where they were coming from. They were so close to their father, they didn't want to share their father with anybody else. Because they felt that it was a threat, him bringing somebody else into their life, and they felt insecure because of that. So with that conversation that we were having too often, and I always tell them, okay, we'll have our gratitude and our devotion. Then I begin to hear, I'm grateful. When they say their gratitude, I'm grateful to God for my family. I'm grateful to God for my mom and my two sisters. I'm grateful to God for my dad and Lewa, now they mentioned, and my two stepsisters. And now it becomes normal. They have embraced that. And I remember when we were in Whangarei, you may be tuning in this morning, when we were in Whangarei, we were all sitting together as ladies. And this particular lady turned to me and she said, Randini, we were watching one of the birthdays, and you mentioned too in one of the family table talk that's your Joshua's dad's new wife. And I said, yes, it is. And you mean like that together with Joshua's mother? And I said, yes. It sound it sound unreal. And then she looked at me, she said, that's so unusual. Well, the setup that we have until today, Mateka brings his wife, my grandchildren's stepmother. When Lewa comes to our life, it's like she's part of our family. In every birthday invitation, they're there. We sit, we talk, the both of them, the biological mother and their stepmother. And even at home, when there is spillover of leftover food or things that we have at home, they become, it's like when we write boxes or things to be dropped off, and I know Tanga Siso and the people that always take the delivery, they will know this. And we'll write, Mateka and Lewa. So his family and the love of his life now and his two children became the holistic package of our life. So we are not talking about something that hasn't happened, or for us to look from the outset and say, that wouldn't happen, or it doesn't happen in our life. No, it happens in our life. It happens in our life. It happens with my grandchildren, and I can see that the effects it has in their life. And until today, I can still hear Joshua, and I know it's that pain that is still there that I believe only God can fix, because I cannot fix it. He cannot fix it. Whatever material things that we can flood him with cannot fix it. Whatever good job that he can find cannot fix it. The pain that he had, and he always shared that, that pain that he always feel when he's playing rugby and he sees other parents coming in, or when other parents come in for PTI, or when they come in, he says, that pain. And that pain, I will not be able to do anything, even to supplement it. I always make sure to have people there. He's either going, or my daughter is going to fill in. But the pain that he felt, until today, I still hear him mention it. And the only thing that I can do is to pray that he will find solace, that he can find that peace in his heart to be able to heal that pain. And that's what, that we are rounding up with. We are so taken up with our relationship and our love towards each other and the intention of starting a new family, but we always fail to consider that the very package that you're taking with you, they also have feelings, they also have experienced the life before and the life now, they also had their lives ahead of them. So yeah, we're coming towards the end of the program today, and I know that I'm talking too much, but I just want to bring to us the scenarios of different marriages that we try as much to make it work, that now not only that we bring into this table, we receive them as prayer requests as well. Marriage doesn't work. Please pray for this. Please pray for that. I'm facing this. My husband never used to abuse me. My first husband doesn't do that, and now I'm faced with this. I'm abused. I don't know. I can't do anything about it, because now I have my own children with him, and I have my children with me, and I'm not working, and I cannot afford to move out. So people stay on with their relationship for so many reasons. Not only for the love that they once had, for so many reasons that tie them to stay home, and they cannot move forward thinking that that's the only way.
Yeah, from the family table talk here in Turek in Suva, we hope that whatever we can take from improving our relationship, and the changes of relationship, the different scenarios of relationship. And sometimes we parents that we are planning to go our separate ways, we don't even consider the children, or even of those that are coming in to join a new family. We never consider the life of the children. Even for those that one spouse already taken the lead, called by God. We don't even consider the feelings and the views of the children. So, in whatever areas, scenarios that you can fit in this wonderful morning, we hope that bring some enlightenment and some good discussion and improvement in whatever areas that you are struggling on right now. Family Table Talk, we share the real thing, the real scenario, and stories that we go through, phone calls that we receive, messages of request of the things that they go through. We take this time to thank you for tuning in, and also replay in the midweek. So we take this time to thank you for tuning in this wonderful morning. So from here to Rekinsua.
Yes, whatever relationship that you are in, try and make it work. Whatever it takes, make it work. And thinking to make it work, just dig deep within you and find that love. The love for you to be able to surpass everything and the challenges that you face just because you want to make it work. And always remember, life journey is only once. And if it takes for you to make some changes, make those changes. If it takes for you to be the odd one out, make those decisions. As long as it works. And you're supposed to be happy. You deserve to be happy. And to be happy, there's a lot of review, assessment of the whole thing that you are doing and the whole life that you are living. Take a lot of sacrifices and commitment on your part to make it work. So don't just give up without trying. Try and make it work and commit all that you can. If you feel that your other partner is not making that same effort that you're making, don't allow that to be the discouraging factor for you. Continue to do what you can do best and continue to love and embrace them, hug them, and thank you to those of you who are champions when it comes to loving the children that are not yours, or loving the family and making it work. That is so unusual. So we would like to say congratulations to those champions who can say to the world or say to everybody, hey, it can work. It can work. If it works for me, it can work for you too. So we are not sharing anything to say that it hasn't worked. There are proof that it has worked for some. So if it has worked, then for sure it can work for you. Just have to tweak some little things in your life and make those little changes, and just the attitude of embracing all the things around you. And then you stand up and you say, I deserve to be happy. I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to review. I'm going to make these changes, and this is my life. This is your life, so live it to the fullest. On that note, thank you for joining us from the team here at MyTV. All the way from Turaki, thank you, Chavedi, and also for the Impact staff that is here. We are so grateful to be able to bring this program right to your living room or through your phone, or you may be just hearing us driving today. So look forward to tomorrow. And also on our Facebook page, we actually launched a family conference at the Eastern Division last night. So if you have nothing doing, or if you have nothing going for today, you can tune in to our ministry Facebook page that we will be talking about the same thing. We have men's session at 10 o'clock. We have the women's session at 12 o'clock, and also young couples at 3 o'clock, and the youth in the evening. So if you have nothing doing today, you can join us on our Facebook page or join us at the Eastern Division. And also for tomorrow, if no place to go, you don't belong to a church, tune in to any of the broadcasters. They will surely have some spiritual insights that can help you find closure to the week and start your new week. On that note, Vinaka Vakalevu, and see you next Saturday.